you are still struggling with the environmental factors, psychological factors, sociological factors, economical factors, all the factors keeping you underwater. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, Risky Words. I'm your host, the World Living Pioneer. So strap up for the mental ride. Today is going to be another spiritual or mental spiritual video that's going to take you guys for another ride. So strap up, just strap up tightly. Today I'm going to be unlocking the psyche behind survival mode. So I'm unlocking the psyche behind survival mode. Survival mode is that mode that you're in, that you're like under the water, and you don't know that you're like under the water, and you don't understand what's going on. You're just under the water, letting the environmental factors control your thoughts, your ideas, your actions, and your words. So that survival mode is like, let me use the example of living paycheck to paycheck. There's always something that you can do to improve that kind of life, but you're in survival mode. You can't think of any other thing to make you escape from that rat trap or that wheel trap, because you're in survival mode, because you're not thinking above or thinking outside of the box, because you're letting the environmental factors, the social factors, the economical factors, and the sociological factors, psychological factors, and every other factor that you can think about to affect how you think, how you talk, how you walk, how you do. You know those other things. You know these things I'm talking about now. Being under the water. Being under the water now is what is that like? Is that action that happens now when, like, I just use that paycheck to paycheck as an example now. I know some people, like, they might not be able to escape that paycheck to paycheck, but you believe me when I say there's always something you can do differently that you'll get a different outcome. But because that particular person now is in survival mode, that particular person cannot think outside of the box because of the survival mode he finds himself in. He cannot be able to outgrow or outmaneuver that survival mode. Keeping your head above water is being above the survival mode. Now let me bring two people now, for instance, and break down the difference in thinking that brings up the survival mode question that I'm talking about now. So let's see, villager A is in survival mode and villager B is not in survival mode. So, and they earn the same amount of dollars. Because villager A is in survival mode now, that amount of dollars that he earned will go to whatever means or whatever thing that is already lacking. So that's dollars now, that few dollars now that you just earned now will go for survival. But villager B that is not on survival mode, that understands that he is the one that's creating the factors for himself, not the environment. The paycheck, he receives the same paycheck and does the right thing to do with it. Now the right thing might be different for everybody. You understand? I just use the right thing now as the object of context to explain the whole thing now. You see how beneficial it is. Being in survival mode is limiting because you will not understand what is actually happening to you and your environment in the first place, because you are under the water, because you can't see. You are still struggling with the environmental factors, psychological factors, sociological factors, economical factors, all the factors keeping you underwater. Being above the survival mode is being above water, being able to see the factors under you, trying to keep you below water but still be able to rise above it, still be able to come out on top in every endeavor and every action you're doing, you interact with or you engage with. This is actually survival mode. This is actually what it means to be in survival mode. It's living in fear of any outcome you want to do. It's living in fear. It's living in fear of the environmental factors out to get you. It's living in fear of the psychological factors out to get you. It's living in fear of the economical factors out to get you. So this fear-driven and fear-stricken mind that is always on survival, always thinking of how to survive, will never see anything that will make that particular being or that particular person now elevate above that survival mode, except he himself gets and sits down and does some introspection that elevates him above that survival mode, that elevates him above those psychological, economical, environmental factors, keeping him underwater. Being in survival mode is actually one of the worst things ever, because in as much as you want things to change, or even if you don't want things to change, you just find yourself still in that same wheel, still running as if things are going to change, but you find yourself going back to the same spots, leading back to the same spots you found yourself in the first place. Survival mode is not a suitable. It's not. We all agree. I think we can all agree that that's not a frequency of, or a vibration to operate in. The correct vibration to operate in is when your head is above water, when your head is above the economical, psychological, and all the factors. When your head is above those factors, keeping most people underwater, keeping most people in chains, keeping most people in shackles, leaving most people thinking they can't operate the world by themselves. Understand? That's being above survival mode. That's taking control of your life. That's being above the factors, keeping people underwater. So I hope I was able to say something in any small way I could. So this is Beastly Words, the World Living Pioneer. So I hope I was able to pass some kind of spiritual message today. So yeah, see you in the next one.